Dear friends, dear congregation, I would ask you now to please turn your very prayerful attention to those words that I read to you earlier in your hearing there in 1 Corinthians, the chapter 10. In our week-by-week ministry through this epistle, we arrive now in verse 14, where the Apostle Paul says, "Wherefore, my dearly beloved, flee from idolatry. I speak as to wise men. Judge ye what I say. The cup of blessing which we bless, is it not the communion of the blood of Christ? The bread which we break, is it not the communion of the body of Christ? For we, being many, are one bread and one body, for we are all partakers of that one bread." And then he says, "Behold Israel after the flesh," and so on. Previously, the Apostle Paul has been speaking about Israel after the flesh, hasn't he? He has said how all passed through the Red Sea. All were baptized unto Moses. They went through into that Red Sea. They obeyed Moses. When the Red Sea was parted as they were escaping out of Egypt and Pharaoh was behind them, they could either go back, and there was a choice, or they could go forward. And the word was, stand fast and see the salvation of the Lord. It was not a spiritual salvation, but it was an earthly one, we could say. They were saved from slavery. They were brought out of that land of bondage. For many, many years, they were slaves making bricks for the Egyptians, and they were in bondage, and many of them were even in bondage to the idolatry there. Egypt was full of false gods,